Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to my channel. So today was one of the worst days I've had whilst using Algo, so I thought it'd be a good idea to go through and look at the different trades, talk about what went wrong, what didn't go wrong, what I could have done better, and a few little insights into the new oscillator package that I'm looking at and kind of seeing how that'll help us a little bit too. So yeah, let's get started. So let's start by looking at the trades for the day, which I put into the spreadsheet. If you want to check out the spreadsheet, I'm going to add it to this real user review here. So if you look in the description below, there'll be a link to this article right here. What I encourage you to do is to go and buy Lux Algo if you're interested in it, the set of indicators. You can get 30% off using my special referral link here. I've managed to get them to give me a discount for you guys for STA30 if you use that coupon code at checkout and use my referral link right here. And you can do anything from monthly to quarterly to yearly. My recommendation, as always, is to buy the longest subscription period that you can using this discount code, because you really only get it once, right? So they do it for one billing cycle. So if you do it monthly, you'll only get 1 month at 30% off. If you do it quarterly, you'll get the whole 3 quarters, the whole 3 months off, 30% off, and yearly you'll get the whole year for 30% off. So it's well worth doing the longer subscription period. So give it a shot, use this link right here, you'll get that 30% off. It's really good. I'm really enjoying Lux Algo. I think it's a fantastic tool. Today I was a little demoralized, but looking at the numbers, it's actually helped me realize that maybe things aren't quite as bad as what I felt. Whenever you have a bad period in trading, it's easy to start to get demoralized, right? And that's where you can't quit, right? That's what happens with most people. They'll have a few bad days or a week or even longer, and they'll give up on what is a winning tool or a winning strategy or a winning alert service. So I've been doing this a long time, and so I've realized that something that you can't do is give up. You have to keep going, and I think you have to tweak things, you have to realize what you did wrong and adapt and see if you can get better results from a system or a strategy or a service of any sort. So here is the log that I've been keeping. I'm going to make this a shareable link at some point. I haven't done it yet. But you can see I've been recording every trade from, say, like 2 weeks ago now, a little bit over that. And so you can see every trade that I've done in here, all the way down to today, and today was the worst day I've had with Lux Algo. I'll put it at the top of the screen here. So today is the 19th of May. I did these 4 trades right here. I documented them all in real time in my Discord group. So, yeah, like, this is crazy. Jerome Powell was talking today, and so that threw things off quite a bit. If we look at the market overall, it wasn't the most fun day for a lot of people. This is one day. I'll just kind of zoom out a little bit so you can see. So this is the start of the day, Friday over here. And so we had this kind of down sell and then just kind of flat up and down. So not the best day for Lux Algo in general. Sure, you had this nice sell off and it did catch that. You can see it caught on this signal right here. It caught that. But this chop is really hard for Lux Algo. And so I should have taken that into account, the fact that Powell was talking and that we're in this ranging day, just to give things a break and not take any trades. But unfortunately I forced the same number of trades that I usually do, so it was kind of a disaster, really. I mean, it depends on how you define disaster, right? It's still, let's have a look. So not a huge disaster, to be honest. Again, I trade SPY, pretty much exclusively SPY. I usually do 0 DTE, so that's for the calls and the puts for today, the May 19th I did. These are the entry and exit prices. These are the actual profit and loss numbers right here. So 330, 180, minus 370. And then this really large kind of loss of minus 775 bucks. So 2 small wins, 8%, 7% almost. Then 2 of the largest losses I've taken with Lux Algo yet, which are not devastating. I mean, when you're doing these volatile options, 26% and 29%, not the end of the world losses, right? I mean, it's fairly normal to take 40, 50, 60% losses on 0 DTE stuff if you're not disciplined. So this is disappointing for me because these are quite large percentage losses, so it wasn't the most happy. The only thing that saved me is I knew these were risky, so I took fewer contracts than normal. In this case, I took 10, which is probably a third position for me. So that kind of saved me on this overall number right here. This one, 30%, I still took a reasonable sized position, and so that was a bigger loss. So not the best, I was kind of miffed. Overall, I ended up down for the day, so that wasn't great. Kind of annoying. But it is what it is, and honestly, I'm still up this month, so this is how much I'm up. Just trading Lux Algo. I have a 72% win rate. That would start off at 80%. As you get more data though, as you take more and more trades, keep adding them, that number drops from artificially high potentially, if I was on a good winning streak at the start here, down to a much more realistic 72% so far. So let's hope that doesn't keep dropping, and let's hope this number keeps going up, and let's see how much we can make this month. So it started on the 12th, and so really only 7 days. So it's pretty good, right? I'm happy with that. So yeah, and so I've been putting notes in on the right here. My notes are pretty complex. Ugh, is one of my main notes. But looking over the data, thinking about it since the market closed, I thought, well, there's something a little off. So what I did is I looked at the charts here. I'm just going to make sure I have them on the sentence I did. So the first thing I looked at, the sensitivity. I've been keeping it on 12, and you're supposed to change it depending on the market conditions and stuff. And up until now, haven't really done anything with it. So it was on 12 this morning, and I didn't look at the dashboard to see if I should change it. I just left it on 12. And so what I found is, one thing that I wanted to talk a little bit about today is what I'm finding with this oscillator. So you can add this stochastic oscillator. It's supposed to be better than the classic stochastic. It's supposed to be a bit more predictive, a little bit better. I'm still looking into it a little bit though. But what I found is on the current settings that I have it on, so I'll zoom in a little bit. So the settings that I used all day to take my trades, I was noticing that it doesn't align very well with the buy signals, and usually it does. So let me just try and space these so you guys can see it. So from previous days, I've looked at the stochastic ultimate indicator here, and usually if you look like on this line right here, that'll usually give you a similar buy signal to when the actual buy signal on the overlays come in. Maybe sometimes a little early, in this case a lot early, so like right here. So buying on the stochastic change would have actually resulted in a much nicer trade here, rather than waiting to here. And you can see again, buying on the oscillator going red here would have given you a much better entry than waiting to here for this. So that got me thinking. Again, you can see it here, you can see it here, see what other ones it's got. Yeah, like again here, you can see that the green is a little bit earlier. It's not so noticeable here. There's a few examples as you go through. And so it got me thinking, is like maybe my overlay signals are off today. Maybe something like the sensitivity is off, and that's why there's this discrepancy between the oscillator going bullish when it goes green like this and the signal. So what I thought I'd do for fun is just turn on the autopilot, which is supposed to give you the ideal sensitivity for the day. It's probably something we should be using, something that I'm going to probably start trying to use a bit more. And what I found was, I'll show you if I turn on the autopilot right here. Short term, because this is the 1 minute SPY, remember, we're not doing anything too crazy. What I notice is you can immediately see the signals jump, right? So this is the oscillator turning, that doesn't change with sensitivity. But the green buy signal jumped from up here down to here, in line with here. So it got me thinking that maybe, just maybe, that the autopilot actually is kind of important, right? You can see the red one here did the same thing. It jumped to match the oscillator going red for short. Again, it did it here as well. You can see the green oscillator and the green buy signal. Again on the red, again on the green. So things start to align better with this oscillator package. So I'm doing a whole review, like I said, on these different oscillators. This is the first one I'm looking at. This could be an indication though, something I'm going to keep checking to see, like at the start of the day for the first few signals, is my oscillator aligning with my buy signals? Or is it not? And so I put together a couple of slides here. Hopefully you can see it, comparing the two, like overlapping. Sometimes this isn't the easiest to show. And zoom out a little bit so you can see on top of each other. So you can see the top one is the settings I had it on. This is pretty awkward. See if I can squash this down a little bit. Just zoom out. Trying to show you the overlap between the two. I'll just move them up. So you can see this is my settings for today. It alerted very late and it didn't align with the oscillator. And then here it aligned with the oscillator. This is the autopilot, and it alerted a bit earlier. There wasn't even a signal to short here. It was actually much earlier. Again, this is with the autopilot. So the autopilot looks like, at least in the second half of the day, it did a better job on some of the signals. Not all of them. These were the same. This was the same. This one had a long though, whereas this one didn't. Remember, this bottom one is the autopilot. So worth thinking about with the autopilot, whether it's worth putting it on or not. It certainly seemed to work for some of the day at least better with the autopilot on. So it's definitely something, it's a nuance with Lux that I'm still trying to get a grip of. And so if we zoom out, you can see what happens with the autopilot though, is it did add a lot more signals, and whether they're better overall or not, I'm not really sure. One thing I did want to talk about very quickly though is that my main losing trade was this one. So I'll zoom in on it. And it wouldn't have mattered whether the autopilot was on or off. So I'll talk briefly about that because it was nasty. Signals are going to fail. It's just the way things are. But the trick is not to... The trick is to not give up, I think. I think if you were to get into this as your first trade, you might just be like, oh, this sucks. I'm not doing this anymore. Everything was going well here. We had a red smart trail, which is a good sign that we're bearish. We had a nice strong bearish candle here. Positive, nice, negative bearish sign. And so you get in about here, but before long this thing just went up against us all the way up to here, stopping out somewhere up here potentially. And you know, hopefully people stopped out and didn't just hold and let it go further up. This was a big losing trade for me today, but it's one of the few that really went against me. And honestly, the main reason this was such a big percentage loss is there was no real indication that I could use to get out sooner. At least that's the argument, right? If you'd used the change of the oscillator, for example, here, maybe I would have escaped here as it started to go green. But honestly, it wouldn't have made a huge difference. Maybe a few points, you know, a few percentage points, 5% maybe difference, all the way up to here. So this was just a losing trade, and it happens, and it happened to me twice today, and there were fairly big percentage losses. I think the biggest two lessons for me, though, from this video is, first of all, make sure that that there's actually a good trend, that it's not just chop. I know a lot of people won't even trade pal days because of basically everything fails miserably. So that was probably the first thing I should have done today. And then the second thing is to maybe check the autopilot here and see, at least give it half an hour, a few signals, and see if this oscillator, this ultimate stochastic, is lining up with the buy and sell signals a bit better. I think those two things combined, most likely the first one, is probably going to save me a lot of grief going forward. So I'm going to put this back to here. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking at the moment. If you want to add this oscillator on, it's really easy. You just go to indicators. I did a video about this earlier. You go to Lux, Algo, oscillators. You add that to your menus here. I'll just do it right now and I'll show you what the different oscillators are. So, close this. So I think I just added them. Let's see where we're at. Is this? Let's see where they're at. I guess this is down here. Yeah, so this is the menu right here. And so this is the fast ultimate MACD, the slow ultimate MACD, the signal ultimate ID. So there's different ones. And so I'm only looking at the stochastic at the moment. The whole claim to fame here is that they're better than the conventional MACD and RSI. They're ultimate, which means they're a little bit more predictive. But I'm investigating that to see if it's true and if there's more advantage to using these over other indicators like the simple MACD or the simple RSI and things. So a lot of stuff to do and explore with this program, and that's what I'm really enjoying about it. So even though I had a bad day today, I think I learned a fair bit. I think I traded badly, really badly. I think I'm going to try and sharpen things up going forward. Let's just have a look at the table. So these losses should have been avoidable. Even the gains were smaller today, so really really not a fun day at all. Still, 72% win rate over how many trades now? Like 11 to, so about 20 trades. Pretty good. Alright, hopefully that's helpful, and I will continue to make these videos because I'm having a lot of fun. If you want to try it out, you can do a month and get 30% off. Use STA30 at this link. Go to this link. A month comes to, I think they sell it for like $67 usually, and so a month is a lot. Yeah, so if you take this one in the middle here, you can get it for $100 for 3 months, which is really good. Anyway guys, hopefully that's helpful, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video.